There is no doubt about it, we had some remarkable springtime weather this year. Long dry summer days with no rain, that meant that instead of me camping around Loch Buie, close to home, I had been enjoying a few longer multi-day trips around the islands, of both Mull and Jura. So much so I had been tiring myself out running around all over the place. So I decided to spend 3 or 4 days in the same location, just chilling out and taking things easy during a lovely sunny warm week in May. Where did I go? Well, I fancied a change from a wee out-the-way bay, so decided to visit another lovely sea loch on the island of Mull. Loch Buie, and it's only a couple of hours by boat from my home port. The idea of just chilling out sounded appealing to me, as I'd accidentally pulled my right shoulder muscles, hauling the heavy 25 horsepower Yamaha outboard up into its raised position with all the coming and going I had done going round Jura. I wanted time to let my body heal by doing absolutely minimum of hauling the 60 kilogram outboard up and down. It doesn't have power trim and tilt, so I have to do it manually. I launched at Kelly's Pier and secured the boat while I nipped home with the car and trailer, so I wasn't littering the beach. Then headed off down Loch Buie towards the Firth of Lorn. The weather forecast promised a mini heat wave with temperatures well into the 20s centigrade, and also a period of much lighter winds in my Jura jaunt. A slight breeze rippled the water as I headed under the Connell Bridge and out to open sea. Although I mostly go routes that I have done before, I like to vary them when I can, so instead of heading diagonally across the Firth of Lorn to Mull, I decided to head for the small islands off the southeastern coast of Lismore, where I'd land and have my morning coffee fix. All was fine heading across Ardmuchnish Bay, until I passed the headland, and that's when the wind started to get up. Within minutes it was now blowing a good force 4 from the north, so it was also a cold wind. I began to wonder if I was going to get stormbound again, but this time in Loch Buie. Obviously I couldn't land in my usual spot in Ely and Dhu, and at Stone Bar to Ely and Nachloich, as waves were now crashing onto its shore. So I nipped around and headed into its sheltered southern side, the Stone Bar preventing waves forming in this side. It's quite a rocky inlet, so I dropped anchor and sat in the boat, having my coffee break, which had the advantage my shoulder didn't need to lift the outboard into its raised up position. As I slurped and shivered in the north wind, I admired the views. As is often the case when the wind gets up quickly, it started to drop off again just as quick. So after my break I hauled up anchor and headed off. I was very happy the wind had dropped, as shortly I had to navigate the Lismore tide race, which can be very unpredictable in the wind. The remaining waves were coming from behind, so I helped push the boat along and soon was approaching the lighthouse. Although there was a good flow of water coming down the Sound of Mull, the tide race was predictable, and I could easily avoid the worst of the turbulence, which was mostly around Ladies' Rock and beyond. Duart Castle and Black's Memorial indicated I was now following the Mull coastline when I slowed a little to have a look in Loch Buie. I toyed with the idea of trawling a fishing lure around the loch, decided it was too shallow to bother with, so continued along the coast towards Loch Buie. As I'd not been off the boat for my coffee break, I decided to pull over into Loch Buie for a leg stretch and let the drone loose for a few moments. It didn't stay up long though, as there's still a fair bit of wind up at its flying height. And when it came back, I clambered back into the boat knowing my next stop would be in beautiful Loch Buie, my destination for the next few days. I was looking forward to the location and not travelling far, except for a few walks and perhaps a spot of fishing in the loch. I soaked in the now warm sun as I happily cruised along the cliffs on the way to the loch. Not long later I turned into Loch Buie, made my way to the top of the loch and landed at the little pier I use when I'm there. Then a few trips of around 100 metres of walking had all my camping gear at the spot I pitched my tent at. I was using my tent this time instead of sleeping in the boat, as I get a far better night's sleep on land and have more room in the boat. So much prefer using the tent when I can. It didn't take long to pitch either, and soon I was sitting outside it, warming myself in the sun while admiring the views. It's such a peaceful place. The weather forecast was correct too. Temperatures were well into the 20 degrees centigrade. So having admired the familiar sights, as I often camp here, it was now time to chill out with a beer. I did absolutely nothing else that afternoon, except sit in the sun, Well, until hunger got the better of me and I had to get up to make my supper. I made my favourite camp supper too. Tomatoes, shrooms and a big beef burger, marinated and slowly cooked in gravy. No gravy goes to waste as I slurp the rest of the tin down while waiting for the burger to cook. Then, to top it all, a big blob of camembert cheese is melted onto the burger's top, before it's all put in a bread roll and scoffed with great gusto. I can't think of a more perfect way to enjoy a lovely warm day, especially as it was still only May. Then, to help digest the burger and beer, it was time for my evening walk. I smiled and thought of the snakes and Jura when I saw this sign. Time seems to change everything. When I first started camping here, this was a small shop with an honesty box. Now it's a full-blown cafe and it's popular with the many camper vans that now come here. Fortunately, they can't get the vans past the gate that guard the area I camp in, so I'm left in peace and quiet. This guy in his paddleboard was also enjoying the peace and quiet of the evening. Ahead I could now see my destination, Castle Mull, a 15th century castle built by the MacLeans. Although an invasive species, the Roddies looked lovely in their colourful bloom. Lambs frolicked in the grounds of the estate house. Although it was still only mid-May, the warm weather brought a few midges when the wind died in the evenings and the early morning. That's when my homemade porch in the tent paid dividends. I could easily sit and cook inside the porch, protected by a midge net. The porch and also the net are removable, which makes it a very versatile vestibule. I spent 3 glorious nights in the tent camped in this peaceful paradise, doing little except walking and sometimes having a dip in the sea to keep fresh and clean. And I think I was the envy of the local tadpoles, which looked rather warm in their stagnant pool. A tour boat moored up one night, and the guests were quickly ushered round the loch to see the sights. I didn't envy them in the slightest, as it cost me little to come here, and I did one tour of the loch, but took half the day. My excuse for going so slow was I was fishing my way while admiring the views. I'm not really a fisherman, but I'm quite happy trawling a lure behind the boat, close to shore and at tick-over speed, as it gives me a good excuse to explore every twist and turn of the coastline. I can't count the number of times I have been in Loch Buie, but never seen much of its northern shore until I fished along it. In the past I was always heading somewhere in its speed, and I must admit I really enjoyed discovering this part of the coastline, as it revealed a few secret places. The fact I never got a single nibble on the rod didn't bother me in the slightest, as I was too immersed in the lovely surroundings to notice or even care about fish. I stopped on a steep stone beach that I didn't even know existed, and enjoyed a coffee and short walk exploring the area, while the drone surveyed the scene from the air. If I learned anything at all from my time chilling out in lovely Loch Buie, it's that I don't need to go at 100 miles per hour to enjoy myself. Taking some time to slow down and smell the roses can be every bit as rewarding. Instead of using 100+ litres of fuel, spending a week away from home going round the islands, I used 25 litres for the whole adventure, which works out around £10 per day, which is good value for money in anybody's books. It also had the advantage that I arrived home relaxed and refreshed, instead of exhausted. Oh, and I did catch a fish, a little pollock, that I happily returned to the sea. It would have been a different story if it had been a pink-fleshed one. I then headed along the southern coast of Loch Buie on my way back to camp. It was certainly a marvellous 4 days away, considering it was still only May. It was with heavy heart I started my way back home. The following day was forecast for strong winds, and I wanted to end my stay in Loch Buie in a calm sea home. I was greeted by the spectacular sight of a tug, fitted with water cannons doing its thing in Mucknish Bay. The perfect way to end my day. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching. I certainly had a ball making it.